Let me... There are other things I wanted to read, but let me go to the Sam Hyde video, because I have not watched it yet, and I have heard things. I've heard great things about how great the Sam Hyde video is. I like how he looks like the fucking Ancient Aliens guy now. You're wanting to watch it too? Hell yeah. No breakfast in bed for you? I can have brunch in bed. Brunch in bed sounds great. He looks like Trotsky. You'd rate it a 8 out of 10. Pretty good vid. Have I seen the Japanese dub I have seen no version of this video. Is this dubbed or subs? Why? I think it's the regular one. No brunch, it's good for your bones. I like brunch! I like brunch and sangrias! Still baffles you that every once in a while he stops being a meme lord and drops a banger. Not dubbed, not subbed, just raw. Yeah, the raw Sam Hyde, man. The JP version is fucking hilarious. Oh no. You're amazed at how normal he looks? It's a joke. He made a Japanese dub of the same video. Sam Hyde is my favorite anime protagonist. This is a contender for Paradigm Shift 2070. I don't know what that means. Wasn't he the guy murdered in Mexico? No, he's always the one who commits the atrocities. Oh.
Glad I caught you.
The classic opener.
Glad I got you there. Elon Musk. By the way, please don't watch this if you're not Elon Musk, okay?
Oh.
This is a one-off video that we're doing. This is private, personal. I put this in his email.
Should I not watch this? I mean, I'm not Elon Musk. I don't have refrigerator body. I don't have multi-billions of dollars. Paradigm Shift 2070 was Sam Hyde's other great work, the fake TEDx that he gave while wearing plastic. Oh, I didn't know what that was called. Thank you. No, I've seen that. I remember that. Just identify as Elon Musk. I am currently Elon Musk. This is my gender right now.
I don't know how you got this, unless you're on the Asmongold Discord server, in which case you know what? My every move. Okay? Me and Asmongold have been planning this for a while now.
Wait, hold on. If he and Asmongold go way back, can he hook me up? Can Sam Hyde hook me up with Asmongold since he's being gang stalked by Asmongold's Discord apparently? That's such a random mention. Yeah, I don't know what. I didn't know he watched Asmon. That's so fucking strange. That's so fucking weird. You literally work for Asmon? Well, I mean, he owns Mythic, right? Like, he's an owner of Mythic, but he's not like my boss.
Moist Critical's involved.
Oh, and, Penguin.
Yeah, I guess if you're on the Moist Critical Discord server, you would have access to this file. So kudos to you, hacker. I don't think
I'm a hacker. I hacked into YouTube's mainframe to watch this video.
Elon's gonna watch this. And listen, I know as a comedian, first and foremost, I don't expect people to take me seriously, but it is a fact that shit posting and public opinion are now intermingled permanently.
I agree with this. Maybe I should take myself a little less seriously, even though I'm doing the like shit with DEI and Bridge. I was just like, I don't know, because like literally no one takes me seriously because I'm an anime woman with booba and a pineapple hat. So people will open my Bridge videos and just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this shit until like a real person covers it. But it's like, I am a real person. Just because my skin is virtual and I shitpost a lot doesn't make me not human. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I should just be like, fuck it, no one's gonna take me seriously because I'm an anime woman. Maybe just fucking lean into it. Maybe take Sam Hyde advice.
And it's not going anywhere. And that's just the way it is. I get all my news from memes,
my news.
Basically. That's how I get my news. Is that how you get your news? How would you even get the news if you weren't looking at memes? You'd watch a show?
That's true.
That's even more fucking retarded. You turn that off? It's a smart thermostat, so it's going to take 15 minutes to figure out how that fucking thing works.
True.
It's very intuitive. I don't know why the Nest thermostat is taking you so long to learn and intuit. Okay, a toddler could figure this out. A toddler on an iPad could figure out how to use the Nest thermostat.
I can't even figure out how to use a regular thermostat, chat. Like, the thermostat in my house, all of the like words have been completely rubbed off when we moved in. So I can't tell which one is like heat or emergency heat or air conditioning. And there's a bar on the side that's like supposed to have numbers, but all of the numbers are also rubbed off. So I just don't touch it. Is it too cold? Well, I guess it's time to get another blanket because I can't figure out the thermostat. Is it too hot? Well, I guess it's time to bring out another box fan because I can't figure out the thermostat. So where the hell do you live? In a place where there are constantly children outside of my window screaming the N-word.
That's Chris Lynch, by the way, Elon. Do not hire him, okay? He's leaving this job very soon. See, he's white. He's too lazy. Chris, you're so lazy and white.
That's true. You gotta hire the Indians.
You guys should have studied violin harder as kids. I swear to God, Vivek would have figured this out by now. I want to believe that Elon is one of the great men of our age, and that he has what it takes to become a 21st century Andrew Carnegie. I think it's important to have great men to look up to. Trump, Joe Rogan, oh there it goes, Elon, Tucker, and it's not necessarily important that our great men are perfect, but they're symbols of what we could be. I think if Ron Paul took steroids, he would be my number one. That would be my number one guy. You agree? Yeah.
I like how he's so used to talking in a schizophrenic manner. I'm like, what the fuck was even, what even just happened? Why is he talking about Ron Paul taking steroids being his number one guy? What is going on? Carnegie was beyond evil and burned down houses just to build structures. Oh, that's like the fucking construction companies are like, what housing shortage? We're building like 32,000 houses. Yeah, 32,000 houses that nobody wants to fucking live in because they look like modern nightmares and they cost $1.6 million fucking dollars. You freaks.
I would like to offer you an escape, an exit from this hole you've been digging. You are a beloved
Take me away from this
figure.
mortal
Anytime
coil.
you do anything remotely based, people lose it. Oh my God, he's based. Yo, he just said that woke liberals aren't cool. He's based. What does he say?
AI kittens.
Yeah, anytime you post an AI kitten in a MAGA hat, people lose their, he's based! He's fucking based, man. For the guy who's the free speech guy, and not only that, but the reasoning from first principles guy.
I'm definitely going to agree, right? Like, a based, hella overused nowadays. It's like, I just think it's funny when something is just completely normal and then people will ironically yell based at it because that's basically where we've gotten. It's like, oh, so somebody just wants to scream into the void. They're just like, I hate taxes. And then everyone's like, yeah, based. Yeah, based. Ah, wah, 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 wah. And just use the squatters' rights.
The logical fallacy guy, the Reddit guy, good faith argue with everybody, you know, whatever. All that shit.
Whatever.
Blanket banning groypers, taking away blue checks, changing the algorithm.
Okay, well, we know the changing the algorithm thing is true. I retweeted that. But have we gotten any confirmation about the blanket bans and the blue check removal? Is there any actual, like, real confirmation that that was happening and it wasn't just people who were part of an organization that was having issues with their blue check, or people who were like changing their profile where it temporarily removes your blue check while it checks your profile after the changes? Do we have any confirmations? The Groiper said it's true, so it must be. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm not going to trust someone who calls themselves a Groiper. I just like, there's just something about that name that doesn't really inspire confidence. The camera switching feels like a 1990s bootleg film. I love his cinematography.
The site, because 100 people ratioed you, because there's fucking 50,000 posts They're all organic, by the way. This is not some Russian bot farm. It's not some nefarious.
I thought it was always
behind the
Russian
scenes,
bots.
let's mess with Elon. We're gonna fuck with him. That's not what it is. It's you tapped into a critical, moist critical. You tapped into a moist critical, and we're back to moist critical. Mainline concern for the American people. And you treated it in a way that was glib and dismissive.
Yes.
You just became a Republican 3 months ago, and you're talking about removing a big portion of regular people, root and stem.
Yeah.
No. People fucking love you. They will forgive you. Nobody is trying to get you to become turbo base pilled, full Pat Buchanan immigration.
I'm distracted by his chair because it looks like a chair that a villain in an Austin Powers movie would sit in. And I like the energy it's giving.
Policy. People broadly understand that you are a San Francisco, tech, California, international immigrant. Well, if you want to be a regular tech guy, that's fine. You can do that. You can be Larry Ellison. You can go play on the boat. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Realize what you're fighting for. If you're going to be the tech king, if you've courted the MAGA base, you wanted these people on your side. They're ready to be on your side, but you have to fight not for Ben Shapiro's idea of the country of America, the notion of America as this collection of ideas. That's not what it is. It's Americans. That's who you have to fight for.
Correct.
If you're in America, doing business in America, you want to be the man in America, you have to fight for the American people. You're not fighting for a paragraph. You're not fighting for a set of ideas, man. It's the American people who need your help. That's fundamentally why.
And you would think someone like Elon, who did immigrate here the correct way and who built up his massive empire here, should be someone who understands that. But I guess when you're used to outsourcing labor to be cheaper and to more compliant people, you kind of forget like what you're fighting for in the first place, which is kind of sad when you think about it.
I think people are pissed off here, and it's an easy fix. Just don't call them retards. Elon, have you met Chris? He's on Asmongold. He's streaming all the time. He's just checking out these games and stuff. He's amazing.
Wait, is this guy actually like an Asmongold person? Does Sam Hyde have an Asmongold person here? No.
Kid does with video games. I can't believe it. People didn't suddenly have a flare-up.
Not about hate for Indians.
Hate.
True.
I've been monitoring.
True superpower by 2030.
The Indian hate websites for a while. It's actually set to my homepage. I've been checking these websites out. I watch what these people do. There were very few overt.
Samuel Hyde, the Indian hate monitor. Do not redeem.
Indian haters spewing their nonsensical filth everywhere.
Oh, nice pun.
72 hours ago. What happened? Okay, 72 hours ago, most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration.
True.
Or, hey,
a lot of people liked
cool
Vivek.
Stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like that guy. Now he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. And I think that truly was a mask-off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back. I think that what you did is different. I think it's everybody spurgs out. I'm spurging out right now.
We're always spurging out
later, okay? On Chris Lynch. And
maybe we could all spurg out together. All right, he could get me the hookup. We could go on the Moist Critical Asmongold show. We could all spurg out together. Sam Hyde, me, Chris, Asmon, Moist Critical. There's a big spurg fest in one place.
So Indians do cool stuff every once in a while. They got the chest slapping, wrestling. You guys watch that action movies. He's shooting a bullet out of the air with a gun. He's flipping over the tuk-tuk. Indian clubs. Shoulder rehab, exercise, fantastic. The hate, it's irrational hate. It's just racism. It's just a nonsensical racism. The hate and racism and anti-Indian sentiment, it's there to the extent that Indians are being used to replace white people. That's it. We have to stop playing pretend.
True.
We're not talking about exceptional Indians here.
And I think this is the biggest issue, is they keep trying to gaslight everyone into thinking that, oh, we're only taking the best and the brightest. It's the brain drain. We have to take these exceptional people so that we can keep ahead of these other countries. And then you look at all the positions for the H-1B visas, and you're like, I don't think you need janitors from India. I don't think you need base level, entry level accountants from India. We know that lying to people is how they've been able to push so much of this shit through for decades. And so they've just become so accustomed to lying. And they're just like, yeah, even if a couple of people out the information that we're lying, not enough of them are either going to believe them or care about it. And so it's not a big deal. We can just keep repeating the lie and it'll be fine.
And that's why this is sort of spreading like wildfire. People sharing these H-1B lists of what the jobs are.
Oh,
you are not in Calcutta scouting for the next Indian Einstein.
True.
You're not.
True.
We have to make it to outer space and invent new computers. Let's get to India and get the next Nikola Tesla. That's not what's happening.
Nobody ever says that.
We're talking about people at fucking gas stations. You bring them over, you put them in a fucking gas station, and then we'll go around all the gas stations in the USA and find the next genius. Well, what if he's not in India? What if he's working at a gas station in North Carolina?
Jesus Christ.
He might be there. We don't know. Why don't we bring everybody here and then we can look for everybody? That's actually a fucking genius idea.
That's unironically what it seems like. They're just like, yeah, it's like any one of these people, they're not violent criminals. They're doctors and physicists and astronomers, and you plebeian Americans just don't understand how intelligent they are.
We bring fucking everybody here, and then, like a needle in a haystack, we find the one man who can invent electrical computer. That sounds fucking retarded, and it's not true. You have to at least say that the H-1B program is being scammed. If you don't admit that, then as far as like any type of discussion that goes anywhere is concerned, it's over.
They don't want to admit that it's a scam, because then they'll have to admit that they've been using it as a scam for a very long time. And they're trying to position themselves as good people, especially when you look at all of like the DEI nonsense. They are the moral goodness, and you are the filth that needs to be excised or reprogrammed. They can't admit to having done something wrong or scammed you out of anything. No, they're helping those less fortunate in other countries reap the benefits of America's bounty, and maybe we'll get lucky and one of them will be the next Einstein.
It's over. This is a direct quote from Moist Critical himself. I'm speaking on his behalf. He was too busy.
I love the 9,000-year-old lolly cum demon vampires. That's a Moist Critical quote.
He's streaming Marvel Rivals to talk to you. So I'm here on his behalf, giving you opinions that he approved, okay? Nobody's expecting you to go full Steve Bannon here. You're a tech bro, we get it. Immigrant. But if you are on Team America,
World
and by
Police.
Team America, I don't mean Ben Shapiro's collection of ideas. America's not a collection of ideas. America is a people, Americans. If you are Team America, then the most prominent talking points need to be the immediate deportation of illegals.
Yes.
And the end of the abuse of the American worker by programs like this H-1B.
And it's really upsetting when you bring this up and people are just like, well, that's impossible. You can't do that because then the companies will just go to another country because it's just cheaper to do it there if they can't import them to America. And it's like, well, then tax the fuck out of them. Make it less desirable for them to outsource by going to a different country. If they want to be an American company, if they want to reap the benefits that America has to offer, they should have to hire Americans. And some people have tried to be like, oh, so you're against DEI until you want Americans to have preferential treatment? Fuck you, buddy. As an American, I am entitled to things America has to offer. I am not entitled to things in Italy or in Japan or in Morocco or in the UK. As an American, I am entitled to America and America's prosperity. Foreigners are not entitled to it. They might be graced with the ability to come here, but then a lot of people be like, oh, America's a terrible, despicable, racist country. It's horrible, it's terrible, while it's giving them all of the opportunities to enrich their lives. Which one fucking is it? Are we the country that should import everyone because of all the opportunities we have? Or are we a horribly racist country that nobody should ever want to live in? Make up your fucking minds, you hypocritical goblins.
Gamification of stuff like this that's set up to benefit people who aren't us. Nobody wants to solve the Japanese birth rate problem by turning Japan into India.
That's unfortunately not true. There are a lot of people who are now trying to advocate for mass migration to Japan to help their birth rate crisis. But that's not how you help Japan. If you flood Japan with immigrants from anywhere else, it is no longer going to be Japan. And Japan should be for the Japanese. That is their country. That is their homeland. It should be for them. Have babies. Shinzo Abe wanted you to have babies.
Preposterous. That only would work in a computer simulation where you can just change the code and make a Japanese person. I've tried it. It can't be done.
Wait, how did he try doing that?
Okay, where Asmongold is right now, down in the basement, I have tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man. And the only thing I was able to accomplish was boiling them. All right?
How many Indian men did he boil to death in this experiment in Asmongold's basement to turn the Indian man into a Japanese man? How many perished in this science experiment, and how many were finally able to poo in the loo after this experiment?
If you think, Elon, or Asmongold, if you're watching this, if you think you can turn an Indian person into a Japanese person by boiling them, not going to happen, okay? Go down to my basement and talk to the 150 Indians that I already tried that on. Doesn't work. Nobody wants to solve...
But you can't ask them if they've been boiled. They're dead.
The American birth rate problem. What's going to happen? We're going to run out of people. Oh, the stock prices are going to go down. Oh, that's a problem for the All In podcast to figure out.
What's also an issue is that for ages we were told that there's too much population, that there's too many people. And I would tend to agree that in certain areas of the world, population is fucking exploding. Places like China, places like India, places like Africa as a continent in general. The birth rates in these places are massive in comparison to everywhere else. China also, asterisk, does have a problem because their one-child policy did hamper a lot of their birth rates now because there's not enough women to go around anymore since they were big on killing all the female babies, since they were seen as inferior to having a son. So China's going to have its own problem coming up here, but prior to that, China did have a massive fucking birth rate as well. So we were told that birth rate across the board was the issue. When it wasn't birth rate across the board, it was birth rate in specific places. However, if you notice who has the birth rates that are the problem, well, you're just a fucking racist bigot. You're not allowed to notice. And now that we have birth rate problems in the opposite direction, where there's not enough people being born in places like Japan or South Korea or Germany or the UK or America, well, now we have a population crisis. And instead of encouraging these places to have children of their own in order to keep their birth rates up, the solution is to import the people who have the too high birth rates.
David Sacks. Sacks of what? Sacks of gold? Just start calling yourself David Sacks of gold. What's the other guy? Jason Sachs?
Hey, yo, cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Asmongold? Asmongold. David Sachs has changed his name to Asmongold. The branding is already set up for you.
Asmongold is Jewish. We figured it out. We know what's going on now.
And become the top streamer in America. I shouldn't say Asmongold wants to himself. I love Asmongold. That guy's classic. He's the ultimate. He's the best streamer. But is he good? I think he's good. I've never watched him. I just know his name's
why does he keep talking about him? Hold on, wait a minute.
The only people who want to fix the American birth rate problem by turning America into India are fuckers.
Yes.
People are not interchangeable economic units. If they're not more than that, then that's just an extension of antinatalism. That's just nihilism. That's just people don't matter. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's just, you are an interchangeable slave unit that I can use anyone else for. You actually don't matter. Your thoughts and dreams are worthless. You are a cog in the machine and I will use you to those ends, is essentially that sort of train of thought.
The universe doesn't care. Shit. The universe cares. That's why we're here.
Thank you, Mal.
It's understandable why a computer guy, why an engineer would think that or would want to think that, because it would make solving problems so much easier. We have hardwired group preferences. We have genetic memory. We have culture. This is not learned stuff. It's so deeply embedded in us that it carries on for thousands of years.
Agreed.
Thinking of people as interchangeable units, while it would be useful in a simulation or in an economic theorem, it strips them of their humanity. And by the way, it's one of the first steps towards any authoritarian dictatorship type system.
Very
it's one of the first steps towards Marxism is thinking of people as just labor. It's a very gross, anti-human thing to think, just to appeal to the Redditor in you. That's middle brain shit.
Fuck Redditors.
Stupid people at the bottom of the spectrum know that everybody is special. Everybody's special. Everybody's different and has their own thing. Retards know this.
True.
Geniuses understand that everybody is a unique product by and for their zeitgeist, or Zeitgeist if you want to go with the moist critical pronunciation. Everybody is uniquely a product of their time and location and has their place in space and time. The smart people know this, the stupid people know this. It's people in the middle with 110 IQ, which is the worst IQ to have.
Wait, hold on, what? Isn't 110 slightly above average? Hold on, wait a minute. At the bell curve moment, maybe I'm a little more retarded than I thought. It's still midwit, but it's still just, I thought like 100 was average, you know? So I thought that's so good. I'm so smart.
Think that people can just be pushed around and moved around and changed. They can't. There's no hate towards
Same
Hispanics,
argument for Hispanics.
Okay? But that's why the room that I'm sitting in is covered in dust, is because the general contractor I hired used Hispanic labor. I didn't know. They laid down masonry cement. When I said I wanted polished concrete floors, masonry cement, you can't polish it. They left board marks and footprints in it. And I had to pay another crew of black people. Okay, shout out to Greg to come in here with jackhammers.
Thanks, Black Greg.
And get this shit dumpstered out of here. I went and hired my own blacks. I went in the ghetto and hired them by hand. That's how you need to hire blacks for SpaceX.
Yeah, you need to go hand pick your blacks when you hire them. That's the best way to do it.
And what you get is you get lower quality construction. You get lower wages for the blue collar workers who are here and fighting. You realize that people are fucking up against the wall fighting to make ends meet? Do you understand that the American people are on the ropes right now? Your people and not the world, okay? It's the American people. That's where this shit is popping off. That's where you came to do business. The American people are your problem now, to the extent that you want people to pay attention to your opinion. And by people, I mean actual people, not Patrick Bet-David, not Ian Miles Chong, Scott Adams, not these fucking faggots that'll walk around sucking your ass because you have money. and because you made an electric car. But to the extent that you want that, you have to protect the American people.
When you get into a position, and like obviously this is like it would affect like a president or a leader or someone like Elon far more, but like in a microcosm, right? Even someone like me as like a content creator, you don't only want yes men that will suck your ass. You need to have people around you who will actually act as advisors, who will actually act in your best interest, even if that is telling you, hey, this would be really fucking retarded. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that because that would be retarded. You'd be an idiot. Why the fuck would you do that? Right? You need people to like kind of keep you in check and make sure you're not going to do anything really fucking stupid. And I think once you get to certain positions, and I think Elon made this very, very noticeable, sometimes people only hire yes men. And so when they're used to the bubble those yes men create, and then they do something and that bubble fucking pops because everyone's telling them how retarded they are, they just don't know what to fucking do and they spurg out.
All about being pro-natalism and increasing the birth rate. Why is the average dude going to want to have kids when he can barely afford to live by himself?
True.
And eat Dominoes? Hey, why isn't China importing infinity Indians right now? If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it? We need to do a naval blockade of China to make sure they don't get any of these amazing Indians. Every Indian that makes his way into China is a threat because China will use their genius to get one over on us.
And that also brings up a good point. If we keep talking about how we're competing with China, or competing with China and all these different things, especially like AI and computing and like chips and shit, if we're competing with China and China literally imports fucking no one, what is the argument that we have to import all of these people? Like, not even just Indians. What is the argument that we need to import these people if our direct competitor is not importing anyone at all? Why don't we bring in all the incredible Chinese people too? There's apparently like a secret Chinese police station being ran out of New York City to the surprise of literally no one who's been paying attention.
That's the biggest threat this country's facing, right? I think we need to go nuclear. I think we need to say, if China imports enough Indians, it's like diamonds. It's like nanotechnology. Indians are like nanotechnology.
Indians are the new blood diamonds. We need to get more African slaves to mine the Indian blood diamonds so that China doesn't get better computers than we do.
We have to be willing to use nuclear weapons to keep China from getting these precious Indians. That's step one.
Precious.
Sounds retarded, right? Because it is. It's retarded. It's subtarded. Ever hear of a subtard? By the way, Moist Critical coined that term, subtard. Competing with China in what sense? GDP? Making a number go up? Having software companies that are valued more highly? Competing with China in what sense? And at what cost? If the cost is making America look like Calcutta, that's not worth it. That's not a price that we're willing to pay.
True.
People keep posting these aerial drone display videos of drones shaped like a dragon. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's something that a bright high schooler could do.
That's true.
On a smaller scale, is it not? Making drones move around in 3D space? How is that an impressive problem?
Does Sam Hyde know that in America we celebrate like young scholars who invent inventions that already exist, but then we have to pretend they don't so that we can uphold these people? Like that fucking girl that I talked about on stream like a month or two ago, where she like slapped a bunch of box fans together to make an air filter. And it's like, those already fucking exist, my lass. But somehow we're supposed to forget that? A cool clock, Ahmed.
To anybody except boneheads who are mystified by drones in the first place. Look at this aerial drone display. It's a ballet of killer drones. How can we compete with that? That's what drones do. They move around in coordinate space. Who gives a fuck? It's the low-hanging fruit of robotics that mystifies people. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Didn't we have more impressive shit in the 80s?
We did.
Isn't this more impressive?
One. Cover.
With no pilot to compromise performance, even more unusual craft and propulsion systems have been designed and tested.
Why do we need to compete with them? Can't we just kick their spies out and tell them to fuck off?
Yes, I would love
when
that.
When do I get some Chinese pussy, okay? Am I not a big enough media figure that the CCP, is it the CCP, Chinese Communist Party? Why aren't they sending these hot spies to fuck with me?
You gotta know someone for the hot spies to fuck with you, Samuel. You can't just know Asmongold and Moist Critical. You gotta know someone who's like deeper on the inside, and then the Chinese spies will be crawling all over your dick to get the inside secrets.
Suck my dick for blackmail. When's that gonna happen? China, I'm waiting, okay? I have 300,000 YouTube subscribers, or 250,000 probably, 200,000? How much on Hyde Wars? If you have over 100,000 Twitter followers, you should demand that a hot Chinese spy comes and sucks your dick.
Chat, I don't have a dick, but when I get to 100,000 Twitter followers, I should ask for a male Chinese spy. I could be like, well, I can fix him, all right, okay? He'll be trying to whisper sweet CCP propaganda in my ear. And I'll just be like, look, honey, isn't it great to be able to use a firearm whenever you want to? You don't have to worry about the government killing your family.
Okay? You take video. Whatever. Why is that? Am I not popular enough to get this fucking mingling? To get Bing Bing over here? Ah! A Tesla Model X and Bing Bing over here sucking me. That's my price, China. Send them over. Do we need to build giant cities that nobody lives in to compete? Do we need to turn our country into a surveillance state?
He brought up my point about the fucking houses that nobody's gonna buy that I made before watching this.
Nightmare to compete. Do we need to essentially have slave labor to compete? What type of competition are you talking about? And at what cost?
Because I don't think they're actually talking about real competition. They're saying that to placate the midwits who think that that's why we're importing hordes of people who are incompatible with American culture and American values. They really just want not only cheaper than American labor, but they want a more compliant citizenry. They want a more compliant class of people that they can subjugate. And if they've pushed Americans out of these better positions, we're also going to be easier to subjugate because we're scrounging around trying to make ends meet, and we have to capitulate to things if we want to keep doing that. Once again, look at COVID. Look at how many people had to take a vaccine in order to keep their jobs. It's easy to say, well, if I was in that position, I wouldn't do it. But when you have a family to take care of, when you have a wife and you have children relying on you, sometimes you don't really have that choice. Sometimes you can't really stand on your principle because you can't count on hundreds or hundreds of thousands of people standing up with you. You'll get singled out and you'll get fucked. I would love it. I would love it if all of us could come together and make a case and force changes for the betterment and not have to deal with government tyranny. But that is an idealistic view of things. That's not reality, unfortunately. And it's like, since they've already done these things, of course they're going to keep trying to do them. They're going to keep finding ways to make you more compliant and importing more people who are already compliant without having to be threatened or propagandized.
Competing with China is competing with literal slave labor, and that's impossible to compete with. It's not worth competing with. And nobody who has a real sense of what matters in life thinks anything about competing with China. We've been hearing this for 30 fucking years.
And the things coming out of China aren't even made well. Like, when the fuck did Empire of Dust come out? How long ago was that? And even the fucking Chinese guy in that documentary had to admit, yeah, the steel is fucked because it's Chinese quality. They don't make good products. They might make things cheap and fast because of the slave labor, but they're not making quality items. 2011? God damn, that was so long ago.
As long as China has been an industrial nation, there have been headlines, The Economist. I remember this in the dentist office when I was a kid. China's looming on the horizon.
Yep.
We have to accept a lower quality of life immediately to compete with China. That's the thrust of every article.
They just want you to become the slave labor for them, like China has. Bring on the suicide nets. Who needs to treat you like a human?
The American worker, you have to take less pay and accept more bullshit because there's a big boogeyman looming on the horizon. It's China for 30 years. Before that, it was Japan. It's constant. It's to keep wages suppressed. It's to make you shut up. Elon doubles down in this tweet, offering a false dichotomy. Either we have to have more legal immigration, or you, the person disagreeing with it, you want America to fail for your own personal gain. What personal gain are you talking about? You want America to fail for your own personal gain. What is Elon, what are you talking about? How does anybody personally gain from this? The only gain happening is in stock prices of tech companies. That's the gain. Mm-hmm. That's where the gain is. Cui bono. That's who stands to benefit from this arrangement. This tweet, it's not first principles thinking. It's not in good faith dialogue.
And it's really strange as well to see all of these people who solidly wanted to position themselves on the right and then use the same, like, oh, if you don't accept all of these immigrants, well, you're just racist and you want America to fail. And it's like, no. I want America to be for Americans. Americans not only should be, but deserve to be the priority of all of those in power in this country. And it's like, yes, legal immigration can be fine if it is in small scale and it is restricted. However, we have had unchecked immigration. We have had so much illegal migration. We've had so much visa abuse. We are damaged and sick as a country. And the only real solution to stop all of this is to stop thinking you're going to find the mythical Tesla or Einstein somewhere else and invest in the Americans. If we have to completely close off any kind of immigration for a short period of time until we can fix our own shit, that should be something that is discussed. That shouldn't be off the table. You shouldn't be called racist for that. Immigrant is not a race. You're not discriminating and saying, oh, well, we'll only take these ones in, but not those ones. It's like, no, stop it all. All of it. Focus on Americans for right now, because that's what we need.
This is a dishonest mischaracterization. Nobody's calling you a liar. People say things in the heat of the moment that are dishonest, though. This is a dishonest mischaracterization of the tens of thousands of people who are blowing up your website. This is not an own on Elon. This is not dunking on Elon. I know that you can bring the ban hammer down, and I know that you are going to be tempted to do so, that you already have with the groypers, which, by the way, you have to undo that, man. You blanket banned people, not for saying not for posting swastikas, but for stating their opinion on this H-1B issue. That is a complete violation of the trust that the people you wanted to like you placed in you when you said that you're...
Did this happen? I don't know anything about the groyper bannings. I knew about people talking about the check marks, and I knew about Elon's meltdown, but I didn't know about the groyper bannings. So this is actually something that Elon did. He personally banned certain groypers for just having a different opinion from him. The groypers started posting grape jokes about someone's kid. What the fuck? They got banned, however, they were saying slurs too. You don't like groypers, but they all seem to have been banned at the same time shortly after. You can't position your website as this was a clammed up website that didn't abide by free speech, and I'm here to change that, and we're gonna let people say what they want, and it's gonna be a marketplace of free ideas. You can't market yourself as that, especially when you are in charge and you control the TOS and then start banning people for opinions. That's kind of retarded.
For free speech. It's straight George W. Bush. You're either with us or you're with the terrorists.
Vipers are cringe, though? Well, yeah, but part of standing up for free speech is standing up for people that not only you think are cringe, but people that you vehemently disagree with. I've said this before about, like, Holocaust denial, right? I think it's very stupid to deny that the Holocaust happened. We have an abundance of evidence that it was real. But I think countries in Europe that punish Holocaust denial with legal threat, with fines, with jail time, I think that's even more retarded. Because you should be free to be a retard. I don't like those people's opinions when they deny that the Holocaust happened. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's real. I don't agree with them. But they are not causing direct harm to anyone. And if they're allowed to say retarded things out loud, people are allowed to correct the retarded things they say. Sunlight is the best disinfectant for bad ideas.
What this is. You're either agreeing with me or you're fucking an enemy. You're an enemy.
I'm an enemy!
It's not an argument. It's not a well-reasoned position. It's just my way or the highway. Is that what free speech is? Is that who you are? You can just be a celebrity. You can be like Ellen DeGeneres. You can be like The Rock. And you can get Ozempic, you can get breast implants, start going on The View. Whatever you want for popularity. You can do that, of course. But to the extent that you have popularity, if you keep digging this hole, it will be misplaced, and it'll be there because you're rich. What does winning actually mean? Healthy, functioning societies, they need more than gadgets. They need more than Marvel, more than goy slop. They need a shared ideology, heritage, history, beliefs and values, religion, or they collapse and they crumble.
And I've gotten a lot of pushback when I've talked about a healthy society as well, in terms of, like, the heroic men like Daniel Penny. We watched, like, a video of some woman getting attacked and robbed, and there was, like, a guy who just, like, watched it happen. And I was like, in a healthy society, yes, that man would be rightly chastised and criticized for doing nothing. We are not a healthy society, because a healthy society props up men who are heroes. They prop up the men who do the right thing, men and women who do the right things. And we are a diseased society at this moment. We reward people for inaction. We reward people for tattletaling to the government on their families. And we punish people for protecting others. We punish people for trying to help others. And that's not a good society to live in. We need the strong men to make the good times. Yeah, absolutely.
That's Babel, that's Rome, that's every empire that's been crushed because there wasn't social cohesion. Basic bitch libertarian principles aren't enough. Maybe they're enough to get VC funding, maybe they're enough to create an interesting exercise of some sort, but they're not enough to hold people together. And again, we're back to the idea of people as a collection of economic units. That's what at the foundation of Marxism, that reality is just math. And thus the justification for a lot of Marxism is also what leads Silicon Valley libertarian type people to attempt to quantify the unquantifiable. Mount Rushmore, the space program, the interstate system, motion pictures, electricity, these are all things that are not quantifiable. So they're quantifiable in the sense that you can look back and you can say that they cost X amount of dollars, or that a certain amount of concrete and steel was used in their construction. But these dream projects are unquantifiable things. There's no slider in the program where you can crank up the number of Indians to 200 million and bring the American dream to fruition faster.
You cannot.
Okay? There's no data entry point where you can bump up the Indians and get Chrysler buildings popping up everywhere, more Art Deco construction. We do not need more bloated code bases, more tech gadgets, more poorly run hotels, more work ethic, okay? What we need is we need leaders willing to fight for the American people, not for corporations, not for the idea of America, but for the American people. That is the only thing that we need on the brink of collapse, on the eve of our crumbling. It needs to be something higher, a higher ideal than tech company market caps. If it's just that, then it's just noise. It's just not reality. Reality is the hundreds of thousands of kids who are graduating with massive college debt, hundreds of job applications. They're being looked over for people who are not us. That's not a meritocracy. That's not some idealistic, high-minded thing. It's just money.
I don't even have anything to like pause and comment on here, because he's basically just repeating sentiment that I've said when I've read through DEI articles a whole bunch of times. This is like looking in a mirror right now, a disheveled, gender-bent mirror.
Apple and Google might win, but America will be worse.
Yeah.
The soil that all this winning flourishes out of is salted. And that means that the next Apple, the next Google will be Chinese. Potentially the next SpaceX will be Chinese. Wouldn't that be strange? Wouldn't that be interesting if China makes it to Mars first? It would be great for humanity. Why don't we do it? Let's do it. China makes it to Mars before America.
China's the red country, Mars is the red planet. I mean, maybe we just let them have it. It's a communist planet anyway.
Does that sound like fun? It's just humans. They're just interchangeable economic units. Why wouldn't we want that? I think we do it. It sounds good to me. How do we define winning?
Why does it keep spitting?
I just won. That was Asmongold that I spit on. I killed him. I'm not dissing Asmongold. I'm just playing around. I spit on Moist Critical. I'll spit on his face. Fucking guy. No, we
Director's
love Moist.
thinly veiled fetish.
We have a deal with Moist right now. It's for nicotine pouches. These are Moist's nicotine pouches. I call them Moist. Did you know Moist is a Yiddish word?
What?
I didn't know Moist Critical is actually Jewish. Did you know that?
What? He managed to call both Asmongold and Moist Critical Jewish in this video. What is happening?
Crazy fact? Winning. Is winning making it so that tech companies have
It's not Moist Critical,
even
it's Moist
higher
Critical.
valuations? Is that winning? It's the valuation of Netflix. I figured it out. That's why we're not winning, is because Netflix stock isn't high enough. That's the only way to win. I want to kill my neighbors and burn them alive and blow up my car, but it's okay because Netflix is worth $3 trillion.
You know, Netflix isn't even going to keep people placated anymore because they keep canceling shows that are actually good. The circus part of the bread and circus is definitely not working as well as it used to.
I want to cut my cock off and scramble my brain with fucking fluoride. I'm gonna win.
I have a tab for that, actually.
$3 trillion. We're winning this much. The dollars are this high. We have such good drones and spying technology. We're winning. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
We're winning. Our drones can make pretty light shows. All the companies are doubling down on DEI while telling us they're not. We're winning.
At least leftoid medicine vaccine brain niggas. Bleep that out, please. I said people. At least people whose blood has been replaced with vaccines and are so far on the left they salute Mickey Mouse. They think that they're helping people.
Why does it keep
winning
spinning?
is just drones doing an aerial display while a robot jerks me off to sample my DNA, then everything is lost. I killed a homeless person today, Chris. Did you know that? It was free speech. I said, you fucking dirty ass bum ruining my street. I'll kill you. And then I used a speech gun to shoot a speech bullet into his speech head. I ripped an NFL cheerleader team. The guys too. I used free speech on them. Do they have male cheerleaders in the NFL? National League. Look it up, please. Does the NFL have male cheerleaders?
I don't know if they have
That is
male
awesome.
cheerleaders.
That's true.
We need the speech fatality.
A third of the league
There's
is male cheer.
1/3 of the NFL cheerleading league is men. I had no idea. Are these like men? Or are they like biological men, but like, you know, like how do we know anymore in current year? That's a lot of gay locker room sex. 1/3 of the league has one man. What the fuck?
Cheerleaders. America is the greatest country on earth. Here's your male cheerleaders. Is everybody on fentanyl? Everybody working at D'Angelo's? Everybody working at the mall? They're all retards. Everybody who's had their lives destroyed by Big Pharma, by the grist mill of inflation and taxation, everybody that's been betrayed by their leadership in this country, are they all retards? Is everybody who's got, and this is a lot of people, who has $400 in their bank account and is getting hit with overdraft fees and has the landlord from hell?
True.
Are they all retards?
True. I talk about my apartment complex management company all the time. I can't wait until I move out of here and I leave them the worst review. They have no idea the bomb I am about to drop when I fucking leave this place. The likes of which they are not prepared for. It's going to be worse than 1,000,000 Hiroshimas and Nagasaki's. No one will ever live here again out of free will. They will have to turn themselves into a Section 8 fucking complex, because no one will want to live here.
You work at a sub sandwich shop. You couldn't invent PayPal. If you really believe that these people are all retards, then you have no place in the discourse going on about the future of this country. You are just a computer guy. And I don't think you really believe that. I hope to God that you don't. But if that's really what you believe, then you're not a leader. I could say fuck you. I could say, take a step back and fuck your own face.
Yeah, but what's the point of saying that to a computer? They won't really understand it, right? And it's like, that's why I've gotten kind of fed up with the people who at this point still have the I just want to grill mentality. It's like, yes, I would love to live in the reality where I could keep up the I just want to grill mentality that I had in like pre-2012, where I could freely say, I don't want to give a shit about politics. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. But unfortunately, we live in reality and not goo goo gaga dreamland. And as much as you want to ignore politics, they're not gonna fucking ignore you. And if you have something that you love or you care about or you have an interest in, it's going to get fucked up if you maintain your I just want to grill mentality. It as like those people are like the drones that he is talking about, in my opinion. Maybe I'm misinterpreting his words, but that's how I feel about it. They're like the drones that don't want to think, don't want to be forced to look in a mirror and see what reality actually is. They want to live in some sort of idealistic nonsense dreamland similar to what the leftists who preach utopia have. It's gonna get way more fucked up if you don't start paying attention. It's just like, I'm sorry if you hate me for being a messenger, but I don't want to see things that I care about continue to get fucked up. I talk about these political things because I've been playing video games since I was a wee lass, and I don't want to see them used as a tool of fucking Marxist propaganda. I want to be able to enjoy my video games without being fucking propagandized. She's the new Jordan Peterson. Clean your room, wash your dick!
But I'll say this. If you really believe that the American people are retards, which they are, we got male cheerleaders in the NFL.
True.
But if you really do not have in your heart grace and respect for the Homer Simpson, vinyl siding, economy shitbox driving retards who make your dream possible, if you have a heart, if you are a human being, then that will sting harder than telling you to go fuck yourself. You can do the go fuck yourself all day. I tell myself to go fuck myself. You can say that all day. Fuck you, fuck you. I say that in the mirror when I wake up and when I put makeup on. Who gives a fuck?
He's the male cheerleader.
These people are retards and you don't have any goodwill towards them, then you're not a leader.
True.
You're just a nerd. And there's plenty of those.
You're just a nerd looking for a slave underclass to achieve your own dreams. You don't care about those people's dreams or their wants or what they need to survive. You just see them as little ones and zeros to be able to make your dreams come true. They are negligible.
There's plenty of nerds who got lucky. I bought Bitcoin, Magic the Gathering online exchange. I got lucky. There's no shortage of nerds who got lucky. There's this disturbing idea.
It's me. I'm a nerd who got lucky. Not with Bitcoin, but with a whole bunch of fellow retards who enjoy being retarded with me on stream.
BoomerCon right that America is just a collection of ideas, and you bring everybody in the world, the teeming masses who are desperate for a
fellow retard
half gallon of milk, you bring them here and all of a sudden they're hit like lightning with this idea that makes them able to make this country stronger. This country's never been weaker, and it's never been more open to foreigners who aren't us. These two things, they're not unrelated, they're directly related. Would Ben Shapiro say the same thing about Israel? Israel's just a collection of ideas. Would Vivek say the same thing about India? India is just a collection of ideas, really good ideas. That's why they're doing so good. Grope women on the train. That's not a glib.
It's always very strange to see these people do this as well, because it's like it's fine if certain people have pride in their countries or their ethnicity or where they came from. But if you're an American and you start having any nationalistic pride, that's a problem. You're a bigot of some kind. You can't do that. Not allowed.
Remark, by the way. I make a lot of jokes about Indians in my stand-up act. I had an Indian woman come up to me after a show. I thought she was going to chew me out and beat my ass, ear-beating Indian style, for the jokes that I made. She said to me, "Thank you for saying that. I went there with my 13-year-old sister, and they pulled her pants down on the train."
Oh, no.
Is that an Indian idea? When we bring them over, does that idea suddenly vanish and they get the neural net download of American ideas? Is that how it works?
No, that's not how it works.
The people
and normal
who are mad
people
at you
can
right
point
now
that out.
don't view America as a collection of ideas. It's not an economic zone. I hate how there's this argument against Americans asking them what they built. If you're so great, what did you build? What did you build? Nothing significant that gets built gets built on an individualistic scale. The greatest things that humans have built, cathedrals, which if you disagree with this, it's just, you're wrong. I mean, computers are pretty up there, but cathedrals are a good example of this. Cathedrals are built over hundreds of years. They're built not just by the army of stone masons who build them, but by the towns who pay for it.
I also miss cathedrals. They are like a testament to human ingenuity, in my opinion. They always are just like massive, intimidating architectural marvels. And then you go on the inside and you start looking at every single little detail, from like the carvings to the paintings, and you realize the scope of all the work that must have taken and how many people were involved in building it. And it's just like, fuck, man. It kind of makes you feel connected to people of the past in a way, because you're standing in the middle of like this great leap in what humans were capable of building.
The cream sitting on top of the cake. The cake is the soil. The cake is the vinyl siding dumbasses who are your customers, who are the people who pay for this shit by putting their retirement accounts in Vanguard mutual funds.
Oh.
They're the people who you owe a debt to, a debt for being able to do the stuff that you do. These H-1B tech workers that are coming in, so many of them are just managing apps that other people built. They're maintaining code bases for stuff that was built years ago. What do they make?
And this goes into the competency crisis as well, where people in the tech industry are saying that there's not enough people who know how to use or maintain or upkeep any of the prior systems. And we're going to reach a bloat point where no one is going to know how to get these things to work or how to innovate with them. And so we need people who are going to be actually able to do more than just baseline maintain these things. We need to be training Americans. We need to be investing in our own country instead of bringing over people who aren't going to be able to integrate and do more with what was built before them.
Social media apps that collect all your data, they're making to-do apps, dating apps. Who fucking cares, man? What did they build? Mobile phone games? It's just stuff that feeds more into consumerism. It's not actually making life better for anybody. The sentiment that Americans aren't good enough, that's one of the darker things that has happened here. I know that Vivek Ramaswamy does believe it to be the case, and
which is, again, a weird thing. I have heard my entire life since I was in, like, middle school. Oh, there are just jobs that Americans don't want to do. Americans think they're too good for these jobs. I've heard that my entire life from teachers, from newscasters, from politicians, from people on the left repeating these talking points. But all over the internet and in my real life, I have known people who have struggled to find jobs. I struggled to find a job for a while. I couldn't even get hired at places like Yankee Candle because I was overqualified. I was like, I just need a job. I need some form of income. And they're like, ooh, well, we can't hire you because you're overqualified. And so you're not going to stay here very long. And it's like, but I need something, man. So what is this mythical line of thought that Americans don't want to do these jobs or think that they're too good for them? Where did this come from? Where did this lie grow from? And why do so many people parrot it? Why do so many people believe it to be true? Is it because they think that they're too good for certain jobs? And because they believe they're too good for certain jobs, they think all Americans think exactly like them? Like, it escapes me. The logic doesn't make sense.
And for him, this Twitter bomb was a mask-off moment in a way that I hope it wasn't for you. But that sentiment and the Twitter deboosting, algorithm change, blanket ban, all that stuff, those are the darker things in the sense of not good for humanity, not good for the future. Running Twitter the same way your enemies did before you bought it from them.
It's always just been about corporate tricks to make wages too low to live. It just reminds me of, like, the people who talk about needing gun control because, like, dangerous people can get a hold of guns, but it's like criminals don't follow the law. That's why they're criminals in the first place. And so it feels like immense projection. Like, they don't feel like they would be able to handle the responsibility that comes with being a gun owner. They feel like they would do something dangerous with a firearm. So they like expand that and they project it onto everyone else. They're like, everyone else must also be dangerous with a firearm. NIMBY protection, yeah.
Is that what you wanted when you bought this thing? Is that the let it sink in moment? Is that what you envisioned for the global meeting grounds? And we're not talking about just making the 10% of people on the left and the 10% of people on the right mad. The middle is the Overton window. You're just talking about satisfying the Overton window. This is censorship. You're engaging in censorship pretty much right off the rip here. You just bought Twitter. You just got in with Trump. You just became a Republican. You just courted the MAGA base. That's a pretty big betrayal of the role that you have stepped in to fill, whether or not it's even true, okay? I couldn't work at SpaceX. I don't have a delusion about that. It doesn't matter because you are in charge of American companies. You are an American leader. So what matters is that that's the sentiment people are walking away with after your tweet storm. It's not helped by these.
I like that he said that as well, because there are definitely some people who would be like, oh, well, why is he even talking about any of this? He wouldn't be smart enough to work at SpaceX. And it's like, you don't have to be intelligent or learned enough to work in a specific position to notice patterns or to notice that something is wrong. You don't have to have specialized knowledge in one specific niche case in order to point out that a problem exists.
Patrick Bet David, wolf in sheep's clothing, cocksucker podcaster
wait, what was
guys. Patrick Bet David, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Valuetainment Commerce LLC H-1B salary 2023. One records from 2023 median salary. Valuetainment Commerce LLC graphic designer 41,600 Oakland Park, Florida. Yeah, see, I don't know what Valuetainment Commerce is, but I feel like you don't need an H-1B visa for a fucking graphic designer! Although, asterisk, from my experience with Western artists, I probably would take the H-1B guy over any of the Western artists. Let's be like really honest for a second here.
Cocksucker podcaster guys who are just up your ass because they have money. The extent to which you deserve to be a king, more importantly,
don't hurt him, Kirsche.
Or equally importantly, how posterity will look upon
Indian artist? No, hire Japanese artist or Indonesian artist or Malaysian artist. If they live somewhere in Asia, they're probably fucking primo.
Works is directly related to your attitude, your benevolence towards the American people. The Cybertruck's cool, but if America crumbles, it's because we've taken
India isn't Asia. I'm not gonna play the UK word games, chat. I'm not gonna call like Indians and Middle Easterners Asians. I don't fucking care that geography-wise they're in Asia. Geographically, that's the word I was trying to look for. I don't fucking care. They're not Asians. You might want to play the fucking semantics game, but when someone says Asian, they're not thinking of fucking the 7-Eleven cashier, all right? That's not who they're thinking of. They're not thinking of Mohammed bombing the AT&T stage, all right? They're thinking of like Takahashi, or I can't think of a Korean name, Yang Min, okay? Those are the Asians that people think of, all right? The fox is correct. Oh, bring back Oriental. I don't even know why that's offensive in current year. Growing up, literally no one said Asian to refer to Indians or Middle Easterners. Yeah, and they only do it now to obfuscate crime statistics. What type of Asian? 7-Eleven is very popular in Japan. They may be thinking of the cashier. Fuck 7-Eleven! Give me the Don Quixote. They think it's sushi, not baba ganoush. I keep trying to hire Western artists, man, and I'm gonna find some that are great one day, I hope. Oriental's offensive now. Has been for quite a few years, for some reason. I don't know why. Kim, literally 1/3 of Koreans are Kims. That's true. Man, I can't handle it when a Korean is named Sun. For some reason, my retard-ass American brain sees the word sun, and instead of pronouncing it sun like I should, I pronounce it soon. And why do I do that? Why do I have brain damage? Like, I know I should be pronouncing it sun, but my brain just goes, oh, their name is Sun, and they are South Korean, therefore I should say soon. But why does it do that? Why am I dumb?
On too many outsiders who don't give a shit.
It's the
about
fluoride.
the country. Then the Cybertruck will be a footnote in a Wikipedia. It'll be the DeLorean. It'll be something interesting. People look back, oh, that was kind of cool. You know why they won't be driving it? Because they'll be driving a Neo, and China will be the first to Mars. This isn't fixed by moving the goalposts of what an American is. It would be a lot easier if an American was just an Indian with an Ivy League degree. It would make this whole problem go away instantly if that worked. If you could just wave your hand and say that an American is a Guatemalan who was born here, that's an American. We wouldn't have to have this painful conversation. It would be so easy.
That's true.
If you could
He's
do
so
that,
right.
if it were a computer simulation. That's Marvel movie shit. An American is whoever.
Yeah, just change the algorithm a little bit. You know, if you practice a little bit of eugenics, you can just make the perfect slave class. Don't worry about it.
Whoever Doctor Strange brings through the portal to beat Thanos. The new Spider-Man is an American. It's a lesbian from Sri Lanka who just came here to start up a cupcake business. But she listens to Cold Wave. And she just came here to start up her hair dye business. She's an American. She's here for the American dream. That's not reality. That's math. That's Marxism. That's computer programmer simulation bullshit.
Yep.
We all know what an American is. And all these paragraph-long definitions and high-minded ideas, it's just propaganda. We know what an American is. And if you're not here to help the American people, then your usefulness to us is over with. The right wing, Republicans, conservatives, etc., they are trolls and memers and shit posters, and they have acerbic ideas, and they're also the most forgiving people. They're the most forgiving people. Anytime anybody does anything remotely based, they are absorbed by the right. Anna Kasparian talking about not feeling safe in her neighborhood. That's based, man. Anna Kasparian was red-pilled this whole time. I can't believe it. Damn.
I was a really weird arc when people were calling Anna Kasparian fucking based, man. Like, oh, man.
People, broadly speaking, do not expect you to be full-on 1950s racist Hank Hill, get him out guy.
I love Hank Hill.
That's not what they're looking for, okay? They're fine with the Silicon Valley tech version, the occasionally based, occasionally Neil deGrasse Tyson soy face. They love that Elon. It's this idea that Americans aren't good enough, this misunderstanding of what America is. You're just as bad as the people you bought the website from, if this continues to be the case.
Elon.
Are you able to listen to valid criticism? It's not from Russian bots. It's not a coordinated attack on you. It's tens of thousands of people pissed off because they think you betrayed them. I hope to God you're a leader. And the rest of you can keep watching this right now. Check it out.
Oh, thank you.
Asmongold.com/ what's the guy's name? Moist Critical. That's the website. Asmongold.com/ Moist Critical. You can now, if you're not Elon, you can jump over to the regular video and start watching.
Wait, what's the regular video?
What I actually
Hold on.
believe, I think that the U.S. economy is grinding to a halt, and that the tech bros and investors, it's like someone tweeted about this, the bubble in the Japanese economy, where Japan was faced with the decision to either start importing people or get ready for a long winter. I saw that tweet and that immediately rang true. I think that these investor bros are counting on AI to offset the loss in productivity of this dying empire. It's slowly being realized that AI is, for all intents and purposes, a glorified spell checker. I use AI all the time. I'm a pro subscriber to ChatGPT and Perplexity.ai. I have Perplexity AI as my default search engine, and it's about as good as searching forum posts was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
some
I
revolutionary
can see that.
thing. It's extra-dimensional autocomplete. The words have weighting and tone and various other dimensions that are vectors, and what you get at the end of it is an article that can almost fool a computer into thinking it was written by a human. I think there's a game of musical chairs going on with money, and people are desperate for a way to keep that game of musical chairs going, even if it means fucking us over. The idea that these tech guys want to bring in exceptional people is just not true. They're looking to hire basically slaves who can't leave their company without leaving the country, who will work for 50%. That's the other thing. They keep saying they'll work 80 hours a week.
I love it when I watch Silly Video Man and he says the same thing that I say.
Which is bullshit. Nobody works 80 hours a week. They work 20 hours a week of actual work, and the rest of the time is spent fucking around on the phone and showing the boss that they're working 80 hours a week, sitting in the office. They're not actually working 80 hours a week. And furthermore, why should anybody have to work 80 hours a week? Why is this a race to create slaves? Why is that a good thing? Why is that a humane thing? Why is that good for humanity? How is it possible, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're left or right, why is it a good thing to want slaves? They'll work 100 hours a week. They'll work in their sleep. They'll work 200 hours a week. They'll work infinity. They'll have no lives. That's not a good thing. If you want more hours out of somebody, you have to pay them more. It's just money. They'll do it for 20,000. That's what they're saying. They're pretending like they're complimenting their diligence and their work ethic. What they're really saying is we can hire them for cheaper. That's what that means. 80 hours a week or pay them 100,000 more a year. It's the same thing. They're just saying you can pay these people 150,000 instead of 400,000 or 80,000 instead of 250,000. It's just money. Any system that gets set up is going to be gamed. This one is gamed by Indians who are master gamers. Pull up the Cognizant article. This is
Master
a company that was
gamers.
found guilty of setting a pattern and practice of discrimination against non-South Asian and non-Indian workers. That's not the intention of the program. The intention of the program is to create a meritocracy. But like Thomas Sowell said, you have to judge things on their outcomes, not their intentions.
True.
You could make a law called the everybody good, free money, everything good law. But if the end result is that quality of life goes to shit, that's what you have to judge it on. And so this H-1B stuff, you can't judge it on the floral, high-minded, beautiful, humanistic language that's used to sell it. That's just propaganda. You have to judge it on the end result.
true.
Here's another one. Hire workers at a fraction of the cost of American workers. Force them to work longer hours because they won't leave their job, because if they quit, they're gone from America. This is not helped by a government oversight committee or anything like that. It's just the case that when you set up a system that can be gamed, it gets gamed. That's how people work. They're looking for the path of least resistance. They're looking to maximize their benefit from the system. That's just human nature. Massive payouts over claims they discriminated against American workers in favor of foreign workers.
Wow,
Apple paid
I'm
$25 million
shocked.
to the deal, which is like $25 to a regular person. Apple engaged in a pattern of citizenship status discrimination in recruitment positions. The claim that we can't find talented people here is nonsense. It's dishonest.
Very
The
true.
claim should be that we can't afford to pay talented people enough, or we don't want to. Sorry for getting overly serious here with you. At the end of the day, I think you should buy Bitcoin. There's this tendency to want powerful people or people in a leadership position. You get emotional when their every worldview doesn't line up with yours. You know, Trump's not based enough, or Joe Rogan's too whatever. But these are the men who define our times, and I think it's important you allow them to be flawed people to some extent,
Yeah.
but also to push back when they go nuts. But in this case, I think that, I mean, it's critically important. It's moist critically important. It's moist critical. This is the whole thing that moist
Oh
critical
my
says every
God.
time we talk to him. He put it all on the line to become the free speech guy and to turn Twitter into the global discussion space of the world. And you don't accidentally become adored by people. He can't just say, oh, I was just building a business and then I was saying stuff online and then I guess people looked up to me. No. There are plenty of quiet billionaires. There are plenty of quiet money makers, inventors. There are plenty of quiet engineers. There are plenty of people who aren't going to the Met Gala in the Satan costume.
True.
Okay? There are plenty of people like that. You don't accidentally become the hope of a nation. You don't accidentally become the hope of a generation. You don't. So if he wants that, I think he can have it, and I think he deserves a shot at course correction. He's been under attack by everybody for his whole entire career.
This is a... What's the word I'm looking for? This is like a very charitable outlook. And I feel like at this point, like, Elon had to have seen this, right? Like, I mean, he's a busy guy, but he had to have seen this, right? And I agree as well. Like, Elon didn't accidentally get the respect of people who wanted to fix America, who wanted to see America become better again, who wanted to see free speech be a pillar that we respect again after all of the censorship that we had endured for years. And I really hope that he doesn't let ego get in the way, because a small amount of humility when you make a mistake can go a long way. There are going to still be people that hate you for fucking up in the first place. But if you are genuine in being like, hey, I kind of went too far. I didn't really understand what people were specifically upset about. I kind of understand that now. Some things on both sides, you know, we probably said some things that we regret. But I'd like to continue working for the American people. And I think, like Sam said in the video, a lot of people would forgive Elon at that point. Because a lot of people did see Elon as a beacon of hope. And it's like, maybe I'm a little jaded because it's like, well, when he bought Twitter, I was like, let's see what he does. I feel like maybe he can do some good things, but like, I don't trust him. And he's definitely done some shit with Twitter that I don't like. But there are also some things that he's done that have been great. Like, he's improved community notes. They can still be abused and they can still be brigaded if enough people want to use them for bad purposes or get good community notes struck down. But that's why, if you want to have an impact, sign up for being part of the community notes. It's a constant battle against people whose ideology demands they repress and oppress you.
I think he deserves that shot. If he fumbles this, then that's his legacy.
Yep.
I don't have a sort of committed opinion as to what's going to happen from here. He has
a path to redemption, but if he doesn't take it, this is basically what people will remember him for. When he had the chance to stand up for what people wanted, and he let everyone down.
Concerned with Asmongold, as we said, moist critical. What games are they playing? Tall Guy, what was that game we played? Tall Man Run, that's what I'll be doing tonight. A little bit of Raid Shadow Legends, is that the game?
Oh, Raid is shady, baby!
Last War Survivor, big into that these days. I'm mostly doing that. Elon's #1 ranked Diablo 4, huge.
Sam Hyde's gotta play Crime Boss Rock A City with me. I'm gonna get everyone to play that game, chat.
Achievement. I'm #1 ranked Raid Shadow Legends. Raid what? Last Survivor? I'm #1 on that Last Survivor. Check me out on the boards there, guys, all right? Boom. Peace.
What is that phone number? Is that like a call-in? Like a call-in for his little thing? That was a really good fucking video. I can see why all of you guys kept hounding me to watch it. Not bad connotation, because I wanted to watch it too, but very, very much understand why everybody wanted me to watch it. It was a good video. He made a lot of great points. He couldn't stay serious the whole time. You got a shit post in between, because like when you're a fucking clown being serious for too long, you know, it's weird. It feels weird. It feels really weird.